Sorry, I was updating the stream title, but Marsh is the map choice for MpT, so same maps as we saw with the last series between PK and GDM. That was a Marsh Mediterranean series, and we get that again between MpT and TSM. Much more open map, not a water map, and a lot of hunt. I didn't catch the civs, but we get the Zeus, Uranus lineup for TSM again, and then we've got a Loki, Raw, Zeus lineup for MpT, so get to see a bunch more variety this game. Got all 4 civ types covered, some Norse, Greek, Atlantean, and Egyptian play, so curious to see how this plays out. Oh, nice back gold here for the Raw player, right on his second town center. So you see some comments in chat coming out from MpT about the middle of the map, I think probably being open. I'm not too familiar with the different 3 versus 3 Marsh variants, but the version we saw earlier between the PK GDM matchup was not very open, and a lot of choke points, like 4 walls walled it off, but this version looks like a much more open version with a giant gold mine, 5 large gold mines all within like range of 1 Mickle if you put it there or something, so jackpot of gold there for yellow if you can secure it. Town centers for red and yellow don't look too bad. Each player has a town center relatively close to them. Neither of them really appear to be in water range or water threat. Purple and blue's town centers don't seem too bad. What I think will be interesting is this town center right here between teal and green is kind of right in the open and right directly between both of them. This one too is also kind of out there a bit. And then you've got water right on this one too, so be interesting to see how that plays out. And purple got rich as well, so all that gold there, a safe one over here, and then one right on his second town center. Safe one for red, so I don't think we're going to be seeing anybody get gold starved this game. I think that's a safe assumption. Quickly look at the relics. What I'm looking for, like I mentioned earlier, with the Loki player in the game on this map with so many relics is, do they get lucky and hit the jackpot with the hero speed relic, but not seeing it. This town center population relic's probably the best one that I saw. Favor Pegasus, not great. Armory improvements isn't. Myth unit resistance is only hack armor, so it's not even like effective in all myth unit versus myth unit situations. And this one isn't bad for turtling. Infantry to Titan's pretty useless. Villages are cheaper is a really nice one as well, so right outside of green space too. Early walls coming up from green. So I think this has to do with the fact that MpT wasn't happy that the map was so open. Like I said, the previous version of March was much more closed off, whereas this one's extremely wide open, so that kind of works in the Aranos players' favor a bit, I guess. Going for the myth unit one, or I guess just picking up every relic you can. This is going to be nice for red, knocking 2 of yellow's villagers off of food. Surprised he targeted the spy one. Could also see a shifting sands come out from the raw player. I don't think you can shift on villagers that are moving though, so gets 1 villager, which is unlucky. The goal there is to get 2 because the wounded villager shifting sands shifts a certain amount of HP, so normally it's only 1 Atlantean villager, but if you weaken a second villager enough hit points, then it'll shift them both, so I think that was what MpT was hoping for and just didn't work out their favor. Doesn't look like we're going to see Centaur raids coming out from green. You do have the Loki versus Aranos matchup isolated on the right side here, which works into MpT's favor. That's the matchup you want the Loki player against, because Loki can handle Atlantean a lot better. That Scarab relic could be interesting if the raw player gets it. Although in a team game like this, you're probably better off going Hathor anyway for the improved mercenaries. Yellow getting caught in here. Does red have the speed? Red still doesn't have the speed upgrade yet, but nonetheless he's trapping 3 heroes within the walls. Green didn't get the Vilcheaper relic, I'm surprised. Teal also just walked by it. A lot of times in a game like this, you're more focused on the action than you are about grabbing or checking what the relics are. Hero speed on the way for red yet? Not yet. Guess he got knocked off wood, which could be slowing the. Hopefully he'll get it soon, because the hero speed makes the heroes that much more effective, and that they can chase units down, especially against an Atlantean opponent. Like how blue and teal are completely walled off, while poor yellow's left to fend for himself. Surprised purple didn't wall off at all. But the big thing with walls in team games, if for any newer players out there, are walling. It's cost effective, walls don't cost a lot. And then in team games, especially if your opponent's like Centaur raiding or something, walling off makes a huge deal and makes it a lot easier to defend, because it's a lot harder to defend in team games because you've got 3 different opponents who can attack you or raid you, and then the raiding person can attack 3 different people, so walling off limits their options and then gives you like a heads up if they're coming. So see red completely walling himself in now, so what that does is if red has food out here or gold out here or gold out here, red no longer needs to worry about it getting killed all of a sudden. In order for yellow to kill his gold here now, yellow's got to kill through the wall first, which takes some time. And that'll allow red to react and get over there to save his villagers in plenty of time. Whereas if this wall wasn't here, yellow could sneak up on red's gold here and kill it all before red has time to react, so. By completely walling off, all the players know that their economies are relatively safe, so I think we'll see a lot of military trades now. Purple getting caught there, loses 6 spearmen for virtually nothing. So I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of the spearmen against the Atlantean player. I know blue's going cavalry, but I'd like to see the camel spam. They're just more, they're faster, so they've got more mobility in a matchup like this. Plus as raw, you get like the HP bonus to your camels as well, so. Camels typically are bad in 1 versus 1, but in a team game where you've got a larger economy, and can boom a bit more, get the upgrade sooner, plus the larger map, the increased mobility, I like to see camels. Now that the wall's been broken though, red's got to be on the defensive and blue's gonna hit his gold. Very nice raid from blue here. Gets the ox, 1 dwarf, 2 dwarfs. And he's gonna potentially hit his wood now here. It's a very nice raid, and that it's drastically slowing down red's gold. Add in the fact that red's kind of trapped to begin with. Red's probably going to be falling behind quite a bit here. That was a relatively big hit to his economy. And part of the problem for red is because he's been pinned at his base because of the Lannian pressure all game, that he wasn't able to take advantage of the high hunt on the map. Interesting, we see the early dock coming out from teal. Using the arrow ships to potentially control this. And even a transport ship to get to the other side and raid potentially. Green is heroic though, so green's gonna win this battle with teal because he's got the counter cavalry out. So the wall is broken through again. Like the Croc army from purple, especially against the Greek and Atlantean players. Say blue's heroes are nowhere in sight. That's the problem. The Greek heroes are relatively slow, so if you're going to be raiding as Greek, you're probably not going to have the heroes supporting. So these myth units are just free to do damage. Looks like we had a disconnect. Get a nice pause. Oh wow. Green got the villagers carry more food relic, which boosts his farming rate like ridiculously. That's one of the best relics in the game. So, economy upgrade wise, it looks like they're about even. Okay, yep, exactly what I was saying earlier. ERT just told Count to wall off. That way they can trap all of Blue's army up here and Yellow's army down there. Red doesn't have the units in place though. Yellow would have lost that entire army if Red had been able to wall that off. Good micro here from Count. Saving those 2 low Herser and put him in the healing spring and get him back to full HP. Don't think green will be able to take the town center with the ship support for TL. It's also losing quite a few units to those ships. The Perdomas have extremely low pierce armor because they're counter cavalry, so... Ooh. It's gonna be 6 cavalry that Teal's arrow ships pick off, making them well worth it. That could have just shifted the battle. Okay, Red's heroic, which will allow battle bores. It's also still got all the crocs out, so... Especially if we get a siege tower push coming out of the Egyptian player with the crocs backing it up. This could get ugly for TL. Especially once he loses all his heroes. TL could be in a world for hurt facing all these battle bores, crocs. Even like to see some mass chariot archers coming out of purple. Ugh. Bit of miscommunication there between red and purple. Red going back wanting to heal and purple fighting forward. I think I'm with ERT in that they've got the advantage and upper hand. They should just push forward and trade. Purple can get some chariot archers out to focus down the Greek heroes, then these crocs are just going to keep doing work. Still hasn't upgraded them though. I'd like to see their range upgrade, make them even stronger. And green takes this town center, which is going to completely shut down these arrow ships from TL. I think the Manicores were helping green control the water to begin with. But now he's getting a tower up as well, so green fortifies that position. See the Mythic Age coming out from blue, but yellow's getting overwhelmed here. With the 4 battle bores out, that town center is going to drop relatively quickly. See the Greek player flanking, perfect micro from purple, immediately targeting Odysseus. Alright, it's not the end of the world for TSM. They still have 1 ceasefire remaining from TL, which they need to save for flaming weapons, otherwise red's just gonna flaming weapons and slaughter everything. Although red doesn't have the largest army at the moment, but they really don't want to have to burn their second ceasefire anytime soon. Interesting use of Underworld here. I guess, yeah, TL doesn't really have an army, so green's like, I've got both town centers. I may as well use my army and just triple team. Yellow's biggest problem at this point is he just doesn't have heroes. Once you run out of your first few valors as Atlantean, Count's like, yes, thank you, I can use my flaming weapons god power now. So. I don't know if that was the best use of that ceasefire. I know they were 3 versus 2, but I don't know what the extra time is gonna do. That's just gonna let green get dogs, green further fortify his position. I guess blue hopefully is cranking armory upgrades during this time. Yeah, he is, so that's good, but yeah, Red admitting the raids fucked him and that his economy's behind. So he's got mostly a myth unit army, so flaming weapons isn't going to be ridiculous here. But we're still going to see it. So quite a few hero conversions from yellow, and then also catching the Crocs out of position. So bit of a mishap here. You would have liked the Crocs to stay in the back, just picking off units as they could. Instead they got behind here and right on top of heroes without support, so the Crocs fall. It actually looks like TSM's pushing back here. Blue with the now heroic armory upgrades as a result of being mythic with Hephaestus. They hold strong. Yeah, not a ton of upgrades on the MpT side, where you got mythic upgrades coming for blue. Okay. So, Red's trying to get into Tornado the Titan, I think. At this point, even if the Tornado does go off, I don't think it's going to be enough to kill the Titan Gate, given that it's 80% complete, but still would have killed a lot of villagers of blues, but the Titan is going to get up. Meanwhile, we see the push in here from blue and yellow. Red's extremely weak still. Again, he got far behind economy-wise early, and it's costing him. Pestilence comes a bit late and really just misses. TL meanwhile used siege ships to take out Green's town center here. Green's also got some, wow, 14 population tied up in hammer ships on this little body. Okay, he's deleting them, so that's good, but I think this might be it for MpT. I don't know. Interesting. The Titan's being pushed towards green. The TL controlling this town center and green having mostly archer heavy army. I think I would have liked to see the Titan just go over here and finish right off. If that Titan kills both of Red's town centers, then Red's just gone out of this game and the game's over for TSM's favor. The birds like harassing Red's economy right now would be really nice. He's got no way of stopping the birds. Blue with full upgrades, still needs to get his unit specific, or heroic and champion units, but okay, Teal just broke through the wall with his siege ships. That's how he got into Blue's base, or Green's base. We also have Colossi coming into play, and again, there's no real good way of dealing with the Colossi for MpT. The Egyptian player went Horus instead of Osiris, so we're not going to have mummies coming into play. green with 5. Okay, he notices. You always want to have like an ideal military hotkey, especially in team games where the map's so big and you can accidentally lose units, and check it every so often, because you don't want to have units sitting around just taking up population doing nothing. So just like there's an idle villager button, there's an idle military button as well. There we go, the bird raid on red. Green's got a Titan to deal with. Purple's struggling here. It's completely done. He has lost all his gold. Part of his food economy. Yeah, that's gonna be game. Red doesn't have like the trade either, so. Those ceasefires did work. Ceasefires paid off for TSM. The double ceasefire holding this. Meanwhile, blue was up with Hephaestus, cranking out the armory upgrades. Yellow was getting units still and still had the town center. That made a huge difference. I think purple mismicroed his Crocs a bit and let him get forward without support, so yellow just converted his units to heroes and killed the Crocs immediately. And then the flaming weapons from red was not really effective because he didn't have that many units. He was behind economically all game, so that hurt him upgrade-wise and unit-wise, and then he had a ton of myth units and battle boars too, which don't benefit from flaming weapons, so red's flaming weapons was kind of a non-factor. Teal just cleaning out green with the help of the Titan. Titan shifted that battle quickly. Another thing with the Titan killing a town center like that, even just killing like the farms, the splash damage on the farms can set you back quite a bit. See green having to remake farms over here because his food economy is shot. So it's bad enough that you're losing your town center to the Titan, but the extra impact of losing all your farms doesn't help either in these birds. I'm actually surprised we get fighting here. You actually see a bit of a pushback from red and purple, but I don't think it'll last. I'm really confused why blue doesn't have heroic infantry yet. You should have the economy for it. It's definitely worth getting. You get the increased attack and HP for your units by getting the heroic infantry, so I don't know why he's still on medium at this point. Teal gets up a 4th town center. Purple's trade's halted, and green's about to lose his last town center, so Teal's losing a town, or purple's losing his town center too, so I expect a GG any second now from MpT. Green's town center lives, but this Colossi siege push is just gonna kill it any second anyway. Purple spammed his mercs back here, trying to deal with these Colossi, and MpT taps out. So I think big factors there were the early pressure on red. Nice harass from green hitting his or blue hitting his gold, and then yellow as well. Set red behind significantly the entire game, and then the double ceasefire hold while blue was teching. Then a very nice hold there, TSM. Another thing that helps with that hold in such a large fight is blue had production right here, backing it up, and then yellow had all his production too. So even though they probably would have lost the fight in like a open neutral site, the fact that it was in TSM's base allowed him to reinforce much easier in that fight. But Count complaining about the raids as well.